Welcome to the NOWT. Good evening, folks. How we doing tonight? It is, of course, the NOWT Power Hour, and I am joined with Danny Bacon and special co-host Christelle, and of course, the one and only Nick Huckson in the background. How you doing, Nick?
I'm great. How are you, Scotty? Nice to be back, man.
Never as good as you, but I keep trying, Mike, man. I keep trying. Hello to Kevin. Adrian's in the house. Richard's with us as well. Thanks so much. We are going to be doing a recap of what happened this past weekend. And before we do, Nick, you start. What was your biggest takeaway from the weekend?
Well, I mean, once again, the volunteers and Christelle and her team ran a fantastic event once again, which, I mean, I think we all were ready to expect that coming off the championship in the fall and keeping that momentum rolling. So my hat's off to them. They fantastic showing as far as the anglers standpoint goes. Well organized. Everything else was great about it. So, how'd you make out this weekend, Scotty? You were lucky enough to come down and see us and see us off in the morning. Cool. I enjoyed that.
Absolutely. I'll say this. It is always an honor to be up at Matagami First Nation. I love those folks up there. It is a great venue for any tournament or anything in particular because you're right there at the water. Nice dock system. But as you mentioned, it's a well-oiled machine, and the volunteers made it look, to me anyway, as professional as any tournament is. And Christelle, big shout out to you and of course all your volunteers. I'm sure you've got lots to say and lots of folks to thank.
Oh gosh, definitely. And Jessica, she's it's funny because I'm always like the upfront of the tournament, of course, but shout out to Jessica where she does everything in the background. And I know for a fact that sometimes we forgot to mention Jessica, and sometimes she's just she doesn't get enough credit, in my opinion, because it doesn't show. Nobody sees that, and I'm more like out there and running the boat and everything. So shout out to my partner Jessica. She is my partner in crime, and she's been taken actually since fall, and me with the business. It was a little harder for me to spend more time doing the tournament. So she took upon registration and contacts, and I've been trying to keep up with Facebook and try to, but I'm more of a hands-on person. So everything, all logistic, the liaison between Matagami and Janelle. And so it was a team effort, but shout out to my team for sure, where they all do stuff in the background, which I'm like doing the upfront, and people see what I do, but they don't see what they do. So
speaking of partners that complement each other, Dan, I have to say, and I've made the proclamation as the most entertaining team in the NOWT. You and Big M, I tell you, she was a hoot to be. The first time I've met her, and you talk about someone that's out there. There's no aspirations. There's no apprehensions. There's no anxiety. There's nothing. She's just like one of the guys. But Dan, besides your great partner, what were some of the great takeaways from the weekend?
Well, speaking of like a real firecracker, my great partner, I can hear little Summer in the background. She's obviously spotted me there. I guess tournament is phenomenal. I just really had such a good time this year, and it's such a blast to see how well organized they are. And you know, when I go back, I've said it before. Hi, Summer. When you go back, now I'm losing my train of thought here. She's adorable. She's definitely a little Nick. Let's put it that way.
Oh boy.
It almost sounds like a swear, right? A little Nick.
Yeah. Depends on what movie you're watching.
But one of the things like I was trying to say is that tournament angling is kind of pushed me to be where I'm at now, and it's you've gotten to meet other anglers that are like-minded, like Nick and Kevin Robideau and Steve Cravell and Sebastian Lazat, all these people, and as much as we want to admit it, we push each other. We all want to be better than each other, and I'm really starting to notice that within the tournaments. The tournaments do such a job that the next tournament wants to outdo the next one and stuff like that. And when you come to the weigh scale and everybody, and you just finish the night before drinking and joking around, having a good time to them, you come in and they're like super professionals, and you're trying to joke around with them like, no, we're not. That's not going to happen, Danny. And put your fish in the bed, and that's measured and stuff. It is refreshing because you know that you're on elite level. You're playing on a really good field, and they do a great job at it.
I will say this: my first experience was, of course, the championship last year at Matagami, and to your point, Dan, it's right away. Everybody is supporting one another. There is a friendly level of competition because, as Nick has mentioned, you pat each other on the back, but it's the level of quality of anglers you have up north. Yes, everybody can say, well, it's great fishing up there. Well, I'd hate to sound disrespectful, but I'd love for folks to try their hat at doing this, and it's a challenge I'm going to throw out there for those who think they are a good stick. I recommend looking at the NOWT as an option for you to push your angling competitiveness up a notch, because you're going to be amongst some incredible anglers, and I can't say enough about all of your teams that participate. They are top shelf.
To that comment, exactly, like the quality of fishing up there with the entire circuit and the anglers, even a lot of us have ventured into bigger tournaments or into the U.S. Some fished the National Walleye Tour, fished the Master Walleye Circuit, and have competed and have actually done quite well. And it's definitely a compliment to the competition that's involved now.
Right on. So let's take a step back. This was Saturday at the final weigh-in. This was basically the final boat to arrive, and it was suspenseful as heck, just like the championship was. And I'll tell you, just sit back and enjoy. I know I am.
Now, Sebastian and Alex are just as intrigued to find out what the weight is as we are. What do you think, folks? Do you think they got it? Yeah! I think Sebastian thinks they got it too. All right, Chantal, this is what we've been waiting for. All of the volunteers, everyone here at Matagami First Nation, everybody that's affiliated with the NOWT, including the sponsors, the families, the friends, the kids, the grandkids, everybody is waiting to find out who is our champion on the first stage of the NOWT Trail. The fish are calming down. We need 13.62 pounds to crown our new champions. Or is it going to be Sebastian and Alex that takes it home? This is an incredible bag of fish. Very well done. Here we go. Can hear a pin drop in there. That's a big bag. That's really a big bag. There we have it. Oh, 16.97 pounds. In first place, Team 10, Team Alex. In second place, Sebastian Lazo, our good friend Alex. Guys, thanks so much. Great job. Great job. What a great weekend. For all those who I spoke to, I believe you told me it was going to take 35 pounds to win. You were right. 35 pounds to win. In fact, 35.36 pounds. Alex, we got to find out what was the secret. Did you find them shallow? Did you find them deep?
We found them in the trees. We're working a bunch of trees down in the waters in 12 feet. That works very well. and nobody's fishing these trees because they hook all the time the trees, so we all the time alone.
Is this a secret you picked up on some of your home waters?
Yeah, we do this in our home waters, but they don't hold a lot of trees here. So.
That's fantastic. Any surprises that you found out on the water? Was it the weather? Anything that threw a curve at you?
No.
Well, I have to say, their answers are consistent with their day 2 total, the combined total weight of 35.36. Give them a hand. You're champions. Team Alex, congratulations again, guys. Team NXS pulled it off. You guys are our champions on the first stage of the NOWT Trail.
You're so funny. Oh my gosh. I think it's the first time I kind of take the moment to hear you, what you're actually saying. And seriously. Oh yeah.
If my wife were here, she'd say, well, he's going to talk when he's dead. So she's used to it by now. It is a craft. I've had to get good at it to get myself out of a lot of sticky situations. So yeah, you learn how to become a good host, conversationalist, whatever. But I appreciate it. And as I said, thanks to the NOWT and of course you, Christelle, for allowing me the opportunity, because without any of this, I wouldn't have it. So a big shout out to you and the NOWT for making it happen. Of course, that is the final weigh-in, but there was a lot of things that happened leading up to that. And I think the night before when we had the big steak dinner and you guys had your team meeting of the top 5, I need Nick or Danny, you guys talk about the sticks that were in the top 5 and how good these folks actually are.
Man, the iron out there, I'm lucky enough to be the handsome guy right in the middle. But the iron in that picture is incredible. I'm lucky enough to call quite a few of them teammates. But they're these guys like Team Abitibi. You got 7 Alex, the Team Alex, myself and Jason, Jesse DeChamplain and Francis. Like those guys can win a tournament at any given second. You stumble once and they're all over you. It doesn't take much for them to pull away, and it showed again this weekend. Like these guys are fire. Some of the best anglers in Canada, if not some of the best anglers, walleye anglers in the world.
And I would imagine you'd agree with that, Dan.
Absolutely. I mean, it's tough to know that they're there, and especially like when you see like someone like Alex win that. Like both of those Alex are just such great guys. I have nothing but positive things. They're super nice to you. I don't even think they have a bad bone in their body, just in how they act and how they approach themselves. And they're like Team Abitibi when they came in here, which they did very well. Again, of course, they just kind of broke the mold and how they're fishing these waters, and it's making us think differently and how we're doing stuff like that. And many of us are adapting quickly to try and keep up with that. And it was a tough bite this time. It wasn't the greatest fishing out there, but it was really good at the same time. It's kind of hard to explain. And we all worked our asses off to get what we did, and we all lost nice fish, and these guys ran away with it. There's about 8 teams I wish they would have tripped up, and I would have had a better day. But
that's awesome. Christelle, what you could do at this point is sort of just walk us through as a competitor, as a volunteer, what basically the stages are and how important certain people are to where they are in relation to the weigh-in, the measuring. So as an angler, you come into the dock after you've gathered your fish, and you've got a host of characters that are awaiting you at the dock. Just walk us through.
So of course, when you show up during the day, we have it's really nice to see the youth wanting to help. Of course, Friday is a little bit harder because they're in school, but they just want to be there and help. So we are gladly have them there and help in any ship away. And then we have Tyler that's been helping last year quite a lot, and this year I think she earned her title of the official NOWT fish measure, and she will be going at all tournaments this year. We have Chantal how you call an old lady, experienced old lady. And I thought that she's quite inspiring because she must be the most fair person ever. She knows what she's doing. It's going to be the same for everybody, to almost to the drop, because she has like, there's certain seconds between the bag and the water and all that. So she knows her stuff. And then as soon as those fish are weighted, we have a holding tank, which you put the fish in there. We're not sure about the health of it. We are checking, make sure before we throw it back. If it's a really good fish, we're not waiting any longer. That fish goes back in the lake. So
right on. Now there are some other volunteers that are unsung heroes. One in particular that I really had a lot of fun interviewing, just because you could tell he was excited about being interviewed, was Uncle Kelly.
Uncle Kelly.
Well, I'm here with Kelly, one of the volunteers from Matagami First Nations. Kelly, you're always there to help out, whether it's serving food or serving drinks. You're always there to add a laugh, add a story. What does it mean to have the NOWT up here at Matagami First Nations?
I find it helps the other people, like the elders and children. They get a little portion of the money too.
So there's proceeds that are brought in, of course, the tips that are added at the tip jar. Yeah. But, when it comes to inviting the NOWT into your backyard, basically, first of all, we can't thank you enough. But as a volunteer, what does it mean to you to be able to participate in the NOWT?
Oh, I enjoy like what I do, like the bartending and going to help out with like some of the campers too. Like they need like firewood, and they're looking for a table to use for their their campers.
Yep.
And I do a great deal helping out with them.
Yeah. Now, being on this body of water for as long as you have, and how many years have you been here in Matagami?
Since probably looking at maybe 35 years. I used to fish in the tournament, and then when I got asked to bartend, so I gave up the fishing.
Right on here. But again, it's not because of one person, two people. It's a host of characters. And on behalf of the NOWT, CFN, and everybody else involved in MFN Fishing, thanks so much. As volunteers, you make this all happen, Kelly. Yeah. Man, he was a gem to talk to. And he went on. Anyway, I edited it just to put it all together. But yeah, he was so excited. He came. He had a smile ear to ear. He thought he was on CBC radio. It was awesome. It was really cool.
And he does a lot of stuff for the event too. Like he would go down. He'd watch the campers for people. Like because we used to bring our campers up like early, almost a week early before because one of the big people don't realize is that Matagami First Nation is not a very big place, and there's no hotels or like that. So some residents give up their home for a short period of time and rent it out, so we have places to stay. And he would make sure that everybody's stuff was not played with or touched. And then nobody's ever had any problems there, which is fantastic when you think about it. Like it's a very welcoming place. You almost feel like you're parking in your backyard, even though you're parking all over the place, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Now, typically, you guys are down at the beach, Nick, and obviously you guys have fun wherever you go. But I will say that ball diamond was rocking on the Saturday night. And a tip of the hat to you, my friend, because not only were you pre-fishing, not only did you fish the tournament, not only are you an angler at large, but hanging out and rubbing shoulders, having fun, doing high kicks, sprint races, whatever it is you do, you build the camaraderie that is the NOWT. And I'll tell you.
Sorry, guys, I lost speakers. I had my little guy unplug my speaker out in front of. He ran by and unplugged my speaker, so I lost you for about 30 seconds. 30 seconds to a minute. I heard up kicks and segways. That's where I chimed in.
But just, your importance of what you do to build that camaraderie, Nick, it was on full display on the Saturday night at the Ball Diamond, and kudos to you. And just explain how important that is and how much fun it is as an angler to see all your other fellow anglers having a good time.
like I said, every time these guys are my best friends. Like Team Abitibi, I went and jumped in his jumped on him and wrestled with him when he was sleeping because he was silly enough to leave the doors unlocked with me around. And but it is lots of laughs, lots of fun. Racing around with the Segway, having this is why I do tournaments. This is what it's all about, is the camaraderie. I'm the fattest ninja on circuit. I can guarantee that. It's make it well known with my super high kick. Not very impressive, but this is what it's all about. It's the competing, the fierce competition, but yet go back, relax, hang out with your buddies, joke, laugh until your stomach hurts, and that's what tournament fishing, the Northern Ontario Walleye Trail, is all about. It doesn't matter about the points, that's all a bonus at the end of the day. Like, you've seen it this weekend, Scotty. Did you have fun?
Buddy, I always have fun.
And you didn't even run a line this weekend. So it was.
And that's the thing. A lot of people said you didn't go fishing. I'm like, no, you have no idea. You have to go to an NOWT event to understand that just being there is like winning. It's like being one of the winners. And the fact that I have to say, all of your anglers have welcomed me like I'm one of their brothers. Like I'm part of the family. It's just a testament to what is going on up in the north. And I can't thank everybody enough for just being good people, really, really good people. I have one more shout out to one of our volunteers, and this little man, I'll tell you, he runs around. He's like you, Nick. He's like the Energizer Bunny. But you see the joy, you see that the excitement, and he's just loving being there. But the fact he can help out, call out boat numbers, run bags back and forth, take the fish to the incubation center. Big shout out to Sam. He did a really good job with his interview, and it's going to
Sam the man.
GFW distribution. So have a listen.
You need to work hard, be kind. What else? Be polite, and I don't know. Listen everyone else, and be friends with everyone.
We look at you as the next generation of anglers. It's very important to see you as a part of what the proceedings here at the NOWT, and of course here at Matagami and MFN Fishing. But what does it mean to you as a young angler being surrounded by all these great fishermen?
I like it. I talk to everybody. I talk about fishing and everything, what they have, what they use. Yeah, and I like it.
Do you give any pointers to your dad? Is the reason your dad's such a good angler because of you?
I think it's like the reverse.
The reverse.
Yeah.
So we have an honest angler amongst us. And Sam, you mentioned that you really enjoy catching smallmouth bass. Are smallmouth bass your favorite?
To eat or like to catch?
To catch.
Yeah, one of my favorites. It's walleye and a smallmouth bass.
Some of the presentations that you have, is there one that it's your confidence bait? Like you're sure you're going to catch something with that bait?
Yeah, an excess bait.
You heard it first at Excess.
Now, speaking of NXS, I will say this. It seemed like anybody that was wearing one of those NXS jerseys that you have on, Nick, seemed to be, in the top 15, the top 20. But needless to say, there was a parade of you that were all doing really, really well in the tournament. And it's becoming kind of a phenom that you got to wear one of these jerseys in order to be successful.
Well, I don't think it's that, Scott. When we designed our pro staff team, I took, these are peers of mine. I was able to get in a position where I was able to help build a pro staff team, and it didn't take much to ask these guys, hey, what would you like to be part of the NXS team? And this is what we offer you. This is what we try and build on. And guys jumped on the board. a lot of it was to help me. Like Danny heard that I was doing this new business ventures, quitting my job as a plumber and jumping in as a sales rep. So it was a huge risk, a huge gamble. And a lot of my friends followed me and said, hey, whatever you need, we're here to support you at all costs. And you know what? That's why there's so many green jerseys out there wearing. And, we have a great pro staff program for the guys that are there, but these guys are started out to help me and didn't care what it was. If it's a 4% discount on products, they were there to support Nick Huckson, which means the world. That's and now, we've developed into a good program for the guys that jumped on board right away. And it's truly honoring and humbling that, guys have my best interest as much as I'm the big joking kind of laughing. I'll kick at you in the morning on the boat, be a fat ninja or Paul Blart on the Segway at the same time. I never try to high kick on the Segway. Maybe we'll do that at the championship, maybe. But it's these, I like to be that fun, entertaining guy, keep everyone's spirits up and have fun. That's the biggest thing. If you're not smiling, around our group or whatever, it's, something's wrong. Let's do something to make you smile. So it's and having these guys support me for that same reason, it's an incredible feeling. And you know what, my job becomes very easy because these guys are wearing the green shirts. We got a green team up in full force there, and you can't lose with the guys standing behind you like that.
100%. Now, Christelle, I'm going to ask you to help us out. You had the honor of interviewing the champions, but you did one special thing that I think really is going to hit home for our French Canadians. They appreciate that level of French, and I will say I wish I was better at French. Because I know Duberville, there's a lot of French-speaking people up there, and I certainly don't want to offend anybody because I'm going to be on stage speaking English. But I think this is really awesome that you did this interview with the two Alexes in French. So if you could help us along, I'll pause it after you ask the questions so that you can tell us in English what it was that you said.
Hi, everybody. So we are here with Alex and...
Alex.
Two Alex?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that. J'ai même pas réalisé ça, excusez. So we're going to do something different. This is a Quebec team. We're going to do the interview in French. Apparently, I am the Frenchiest French girl here, so I have to do the interview, which I am happy to do it. So, on va le faire en français. Si jamais vous avez des questions, qu'est-ce qu'on dit? Gênez-vous pas, on va en jaser après. Mettez ça dans les comments. Put that in the comments. So, les boys, pouvez-vous me dire, c'était-tu spring? C'était-tu a redemption tournament?
But
Was it a redemption tournament? Is that what you were asking, Christelle?
Yeah, I don't think the answer correctly the first time, but I know the second time it was better. So they answered something totally different, but I can explain what they said. But second time I asked, they answered that question better.
Now, when you say redemption, was it because of the championship that this was the redemption?
The reason why I asked is because they fished last fall, and I know they were coming in strong, and unfortunately for them, they did not. I know they have not performed the way they wanted to. So that's why I'm like, was this a redemption tournament? Because they didn't do so well in the fall.
I spoke with Alex after
spring.
Sorry, Nick.
Yeah, so just to touch on the event, Alex to Christelle's left there, Vesna. He speaks. He's pretty bilingual, but his partner wasn't 100%. Didn't understand the rules as they're from Quebec, and they ended up having a couple of overs. So the rules, there was a little bit of gray area on the rules. It wasn't. It didn't come across super clear. So unfortunately, this is why it was a redemption tournament. So having that being said, they're coming back, understanding the rules properly. All the rules. Anyone that's watching, the rule meetings are done in French or in English as well. So sometimes for a Quebec team that might not be 100% bilingual, might miss something during the rules, and that's unfortunately this case what happened.
Awesome.
C'est sûr que c'était un spring tournament. Il y a beaucoup de migration, il y a beaucoup de patterns, ça bouge tellement vite. Ça a pris beaucoup d'adaptation. On s'est déplacé énormément. On a fait une grosse prospection. Je pense qu'on a eu vraiment une bonne prospection dans le sens que on a fait ce qu'il fallait. Ça a payé, ça a bien payé.
So just recap what he said, Christelle.
So he said that I'm not too sure what he heard, but he said that fish moved a lot. So they had to move a lot and prospect and see where the fish were because they were not at the same place as the day before or something. So there was a lot of movement on the lake.
Now, this isn't the first man that didn't listen to your question, I'm sure.
No, that's okay. Well, I said it in English, so I should have said it better in French, but I think second time I got it right.
Right on.
La raison pourquoi je dis Redemption, parce que vous avez déjà fait un tournoi ici avant. Les choses ont juste pas été comme qu'on voulait, mais là, étiez-vous en mode, là, OK, we got this, là, sérieux, bas.
Lui, il y avait de l'expérience sur le plan d'eau. Moi, c'était ma première fois ici. Lui était venu cet automne, mais on s'est servi beaucoup du knowledge qu'on a eu dans les années passées. Ça nous a beaucoup servi, c'est sûr. Puis on a appris énormément. On a découvert beaucoup d'autres choses. C'est tellement un beau plan d'eau. Il y a une très bonne qualité de poisson ici. Beaucoup de poissons. Beaucoup de gros dorés aussi. Belle place.
Donc, c'est...
Basically...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So they kind of talk, they're still talking about the fish, but at first they're like, yeah, we understand this tournament better, which probably was talking about the rules and where the fish are. And they were more prepared coming to this tournament.
Right on.
C'est sûr que en ce moment, le gros buzz, c'est les lives, c'est sûr.
Ouais.
Est-ce que toute la journée, vous avez eu d'affaires à utiliser votre live ou à un moment donné, vous avez dit, sais-tu quoi, fuck it, on a besoin d'aller un peu old school, on essaie quelque chose de différent ou ça a été vraiment un outil spécifique à votre winning aujourd'hui?
Est-ce que tu veux répondre? Je réponds.
So what was the question there, Christelle? And you talk about me talking, holy smokes.
So I asked them, everybody's talking about the live right now. Was this a tool they used all day or at some point? I should not be saying fuck it on live or anywhere because that's one
You
thing I
already
have
did.
to work on. I know. I was just, I said, is this something they use all day or at one point they're like, it doesn't work. We need to go old school and let's stop the live and let's do something else.
Great question.
Ça a été important pour nous autres aujourd'hui. On s'est servi de ça toute la journée. Puis d'après moi, sans ça, c'est surtout la prospection qui nous a aidés avec ces outils-là pour trouver les gros dorés. Mais on s'en est servi toute la journée surtout pour attraper nos beaux poissons.
So they said they actually used it all day, and that helped with finding prospect fish. They use their live pretty much all the time.
And fishing in timber, fallen timber, and I'd like to say that some of us know that the walleye will hang out in the timber. Maybe not this time of year. I'm not 100% sure. But Danny, Nick, was this something that was new to you, fishing for walleye in fallen timber?
Not at all. Like I think last week I showed you a picture of, not a picture, but we talked about how I flip for walleyes using my largemouth flipping stuff. I can actually pull up a picture. I do this quite a bit. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do this in this event. I didn't have the practice, but if you can see my camera, I have actually flipped with tungsten weights and in the wood. So we list presentations on a swim bait with the tungsten and peg weights. A lot of times, similar ways that people would fish largemouth. And I do this a lot, swimming over weeds, so I don't hang up as much. It's one thing that I know I do quite a bit differently than a lot of people, but I'm using a lot bigger stuff than most. But this year was different. These fish were post spawn, but not very far out post spawn. The water temps, we seen fluctuation. We were asked by Chantel to actually keep an idea and watch the water temperatures because they were trying to read some data on that, and we were seeing it turn from 65 degrees, and then as soon as the wind would start blowing up, it'd be down in like the mid to low 50s, which was a substantial change. So we know that water temperature was really cold. You pick up your jigs, and you notice, like, when you pitched out in 10 feet of water or more, we got a lot of fish to eat. There was cold water.
That's awesome. All right, continue with the champions.
Super. Fait en général, comment est-ce que vous êtes content de votre performance aujourd'hui? Est-ce qu'il y a eu
110% heureux de notre performance. C'est sûr que les choses ont changé, comme que c'est un spring pattern. On avait des gros dorés à des endroits qui n'étaient plus là aujourd'hui. Il a fallu s'adapter. On a travaillé vraiment fort. On a eu des missing bites vraiment importantes, des gros fish qui est comme ça, ils bite the tips of the bait, des gone. Fait que c'est ça. Il y a eu beaucoup d'adaptations. Puis,
Fait que là,
So basically, he's just saying that they were biting light, I'm assuming, Christelle?
Correct. They said that there was a lot of adaptation since it was a spring. They came in fall, so they needed to adapt for a spring bite.
Right on.
je ne sais pas si Scottie vous l'avez déjà demandé sur le stage. J'étais super busy. Est-ce que vous utilisez les live baits dans votre tournoi ou
Non.
vous...
On a fait tout ça au plastique toute la semaine. On a essayé un peu, mais ça n'a pas été bon pour nous autres.
C'est quoi votre préféré?
NXS.
NXS.
So basically, you're asking about live bait plastics. They obviously preferred to use the plastics, and there we are with NXS again. I tell you, we're some shameless plugs going on here for NXS. It's awesome.
Just to throw a shameless plug in there, Scottie.
Yeah.
Alex actually helped design a couple of NXS baits, and that's what he was using. A lot of us were using that bait this weekend. So the Smelt AV, that's the Smelt Alex Visa. He helped design some of those.
Wow.
Donc, je ne sais pas si vous avez des gens à remercier. C'est une grosse affaire gagner un tournoi. Je pourrais jamais vivre ça, c'est sûr. Mais vous voir les pêcheurs être comme vivre ce moment-là, c'est super spécial. Avez-vous des gens que vous voulez remercier?
Tout le monde de notre entourage, puis ma blonde de m'avoir laissé venir. Moi aussi, principalement. Ma conjointe, puis mon enfant qui passe des semaines quand on est en tournoi tout seul, puis qui se débrouille.
Right on.
So are they thanking certain people? What's going on there? Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
especially their wives for letting them fish the tournaments.
Great plug. You see, as a wife, you can appreciate that. So that's awesome.
So, sur votre bateau, contrairement à plusieurs personnes, vous n'avez aucun collant, vous n'avez aucun sponsor, mais c'est sûr, vous avez un beau gilet ici aujourd'hui. J'imagine que vous avez un gros supporteur dans votre circuit, dans le circuit, dans votre pêche.
On est bien appuyé par GFW. C'est eux autres qui nous fournissent nos cannes, nos baits, nos reels, nos affaires. On a vraiment du bon stock. On pêche avec la bonne guille grâce à GFW. Un gros merci à GFW aussi. Un gros merci à GFW.
Cool. Je connais personne.
And they're thanking sponsors?
So I told them, I'm like, okay, guys, I'm not seeing any stickers or any sponsors on your boat, but obviously I'm saying you're wearing your shirt. That means you have a good supporter behind you, and they are thanking GFW and Eric and the team.
You've done this before.
Personnellement, Eric, je sais exactement comment est-ce qu'il doit se sentir là-bas. Il doit capoter, là, voir, j'ose dire, ses amis. Eric, écoute, shout-out, Eric. T'as une super de bonne équipe avec toi. Puis, écoute, je vous souhaite que du succès dans la saison 2024. C'est quoi votre prochain tournoi?
Le prochain tournoi, ça va être à Chapet, Festival du Doré Bay James. À Chapet, Québec.
Faites-vous un autre tournoi dans la NOWT?
Ça ne la donne pas à notre horaire, malheureusement. On aimerait ça avoir plus de temps et en faire plus parce que c'est vraiment un super beau circuit. L'organisation est vraiment awesome. Belle organisation.
Give us a recap, Christelle.
So I asked them what is the next fishing tournament they're fishing. They said they're going to Chapet. And I asked them if they were doing another fishing a tournament in the NOWT, and they said, unfortunately, time-wise, and there's some conflict of schedule here, so they won't be able to fish any other events in the NOWT.
Oh, no way.
Ben, bonne chance les boys, puis bonne saison 2024.
Merci beaucoup.
Félicitations encore.
Merci beaucoup. Félicitations pour votre organisation.
Merci.
Ouais, très, très bien organisé.
Team effort. On pédale, on a chaud. Je sais pas, vous sentez le bon parfum. J'avais peur de sentir le swing avant la
On sent nous autres, on sent le brochet.
Ouais. OK, bon, ben...
That's
You want
awesome.
me to translate that, Shanta? Or
Sure.
now that's my wife calls that a French shower. Now you know why.
That is hilarious.
Yeah. That was we work hard, we sweat a lot, and I made sure I put a lot of perfume just before the interview. I'm like, what if I smell I'm too close to people right now? But
we all do that. We all do that.
No kidding. Well, we're going to go over the final standings, but before we do that, we do have some folks that we need to thank, and of course, the sponsors, just like the volunteers. This wouldn't happen without them, so let's give them a shout out.
Mercury Outboards, set the water on fire. Prince Craft Boats, celebrating 70 years of boating. J&B Superstore, your adventure awaits. Raxfin, making the outdoors more fun. Eastview Chevrolet to get you there. And Garmin to get you home. And of course, all these generous sponsors.
All right, so as the tournament ended up, it's basically the top 15 teams that are in the money. Is that how it works?
For spring, top 15. There was also a top female angler, top young angler. We also had a first fish between 16 and 18 showing up to the weigh-in. And then also the NOWT prizes, biggest bag, biggest cool under pressure, mystery weight. So there is a few here and there winners, but for top 15, yes.
So let's go through some of the teams, because I think everybody's got an opinion about certain folks, but this is your 15th place team. Big shout out to Steve and Alan, who did phenomenal this past weekend. And again, we're very welcoming. Shook my hand. I can't thank all of your competitors enough for just being good people, like really good people.
And these two here also need a special shout, as they're kind of semi-volunteers. Like when they're not on the water, they're volunteering at the event, and they put a lot of effort in. And Larry, I believe, actually started this event a very long time ago. So,
oh yeah, he's the pioneer of the fishing tournament in Matagami. He's still in the community. Actually, he fishes the tournament, but he sits on the community. He still has some ideas. He has a vision, and we're following along. Some of this stuff is crazy, but we love Larry's ideas. He's the one setting up the buoys and the boundaries and the weighing station at the end of the weekend. He goes pick it up, and so he does. Like I said earlier, we got people working in the background, and these two are example of it.
And you look at
like myself that stays on the community, we rent a house. Larry's just constantly around making sure everything's good. If we need something, we call Larry, and he's within seconds. It's that we can't thank him enough. He's the heart and soul of a lot of the stuff that comes around the fishing side of the MFN. Maybe not so much as the directing anymore, but I mean, like he's such a big part of it, as well as Kelly and all the other main faces you see year after year.
He passed everything down to Jessica.
And just keep in mind, have a look at the weights. So your 15th place, you're in 19 pounds. And it's amazing to see, how the increments go once we get up to the champions and what bag they brought home, as you already know. But I think it's amazing when you're allowed only 2 over, 4 under, 1 over, 5 under. So 6 fish total is what you're allowed. And I'll tell you, it's not easy to catch unders. It's not easy to catch overs. But judging by the weights that were calculated by the end of it, this was really something. Like, great job by all. This, of course, is 13th place. We've got Michelle, Andre Cousineau, and Jacob. big shout out to this team. These two, Dee Dee and Ray, I tell you, they took my heart, these two. They were awesome.
No electronic at all.
They were fun to watch, and they were having a lot of fun after the event. And a lot of people that do stick around usually have a lot of good time and out there. So it was nice having a conversation with them as well.
100%. They, as I said, Dee Dee has had some issues in her life, and she's managed to overcome them. She has a smile everywhere she goes. She has got a certain sense of energy. And Ray, he's always smiling. I've never seen this man not smile. Every time they came to the dock, the weigh-in, the after party, just great to be around. So big shout out to Dee Dee and Ray. Really appreciated your company. And congratulations on 12th place. Then in 11th place, we have a father and son team. This is Zachary and Jonathan Moran. Folks, you want to tell me a little bit more about this team?
They've been around for a long time fishing that. In fact, they won one of the 15-inch fish prizes, and they did the same thing last fall. In fact, Jonathan proved that Garmin ice unit will float. So last fall. So he actually, just a little story with that is that they last fall, this is the first time that they issued that. They had that prize each day where the 15-inch or under walleye, first one to bring in, won that $500, and they caught one. So they raced in. They forgot to bring up the live, and they got to the launch and to the way scale. They did it, and then they realized it was missing. So on their way back, they could see the bag floating, and everything was still there, and everything still worked. Like yeah. So that was on like day one last fall. So
I didn't know that.
Also, Jonathan's also our champion for the championship in Cap. He's one of the men that won the championship.
Very cool. So now we're into the top 10, and of course, I'm not the least bit surprised to see these two in the top 10. Very focused, good people to be around. Don't get me wrong, but they were very focused and determined to be in the top 10, but inevitably, win the tournament. But anything you can say about these two?
No, these guys are hammers. They're in the event up in the top, running every event, hold themselves on a professional standard. These guys are absolute sleepers. They don't have the tournament jerseys on, and they don't let that fool you. These guys are coming in with a big bag no matter what. I can guarantee it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, in 9th place, but number one on our hearts, Team Bacon.
They're okay. They're all right.
We managed. We got lucky this time around. Yeah.
She's awesome.
I've been lucky enough to watch Danny grow as an angler for the last few years. He took a season or two off and really developed and honed in his craft. And he who is that, Summer?
Auntie and Uncle.
Auntie and Uncle?
Yeah.
So that's the kind of friend are now. It's my kids just openly started calling them Auntie and Uncle, and so they're Mommy just said hi. Did you see that? You want to say hi to Mommy? Say hi, Mommy.
Hi, Mommy.
Summer, what's your favorite fish to catch?
Pike.
And so it's been cool to watch both Danny and Mare grow as anglers. The last few years they honed in on their craft, and I mean now they're the last two events they fished since they've been back, they finished the top. So it's pretty special to see.
And Danny, the consistency you have, you were in 8th place after day one. You ended up in 9th place in the top 10. Nothing to be ashamed about, I'll tell you.
Oh, no, we're very, very happy with the result. And, we worked our asses off, and we can talk about that a little later, but kind of like what Alex is touching about, every team, we all had the same thing. And we had to, in 2 days of fishing, we probably had to fish 6 different techniques and styles and locations and chasing down fish. And in a side note, it's not on my picture, is that, of course, Lady Bird, who's our third in the boat, is not in there. She's a little too low for the cut there, but
that's awesome. Now, of course, in 8th place, again, notable anglers as well. They won the championship last year. I can't say enough about these two, but I know you, Nick, and Danny have far more to say than I can.
Look at that weight for 8th place.
Yeah.
I was impressed on my weight, but like, wow. And that was an 8th place. That's the fishery there. That's how good the fishery is there.
And I think both you, Nick, and Danny, a few other people that I spoke to as well, they called it. You guys called it. You said 35 pounds is going to win this tournament, and you were bang on. So that's
I think Kevin even was one of the ones that mentioned that it was 35 pounds as well. Kevin Robino, he mentioned 35 pounds. So it's we know the potential of this fishery. We've seen it time in and time again, and guys are getting better. They're getting better. They have the electronics to find some other fish too. Plus the skill level of these guys they're elite level anglers. These guys they're true professionals.
They sure are, and good guys to be around as well. Now, of course, we're into 7th place. And there's your president of the NOWT, and of course, Corey. Good sticks in their own right. Probably would have liked to have been a little bit higher up in the standings, but as you said, 28.74 pounds, and that's 7th place. That blows my mind.
So last year we finished 2nd place, and the tournament was won. Last spring tournament was won with 26 pounds. So just to show you. How much how well these anglers are doing in the in these events and these circuits. These it's not always about the the fishery and whatnot. It's the anglers being able to not even compromise on the bite. It's them being able to make a move and make changes and fine tune their bite halfway through a day. And when things change, it's not a give up, go home. It's a just make a minor adjustment. These fish probably moved over here, and that's the difference. The different way of looking. Like I said, I fished the National Walleye Tour as a co-angler and see how those guys operate back when it was 2015. And now we're seeing the same thing for our guys. I would put them up against any of the best walleye anglers in the world.
Awesome. Well said. Of course, now we're going to get into 6th place. And of course, these lads were just a dream to be around. Chad, especially, a big shout out to you, Chad. I don't know how many times he shook my hand, but I'll tell you, 29 pounds. I'm stunned. I was stunned to see them in 6th place with that weight. Danny, you have to agree?
They've won this tournament before with less weight. So it was phenomenal. So I was actually, I was like, ooh, we consider they could be a dark horse we're talking about for the championship because they have done well here. And when I realized they were sitting in the hot seat when we got in there, I said, oh, they might have stuck one in here because they have that potential and that ability to do it. And they, they're almost 30 pounds. That's retarded. I mean, how good that is.
Absolutely incredible. Now, top 5, of course, this was after day 1. This was your top 5 teams, and a little bit of shuffling in the end, but at the end of the day, I think everybody positioned themselves so that they had a chance to win this top 5. As I said, is the elite of the NOWT, and of course, Jason and Nick. Tell us about your day. Tell us about your weekend. How does it feel coming in 5th, Nick?
I mean, it's no one wants to. We all want to, but I mean, you see 29.63 pounds, man. Yeah. We come in 5th place. Here you go, guys. This is the guys deserve to beat us at that point. We found the fishery, the fishing, extremely tough. Day 2, we went into full scramble mode. I think I mentioned to you, Scotty, halfway during the rules meeting, we were on a pretty good bite between 16 and 18 pounds a day. We weighed in 16 pounds, left a lot for day 2. Thank God we did, because we went into full scramble mode and we were able to pick off some of our less pressured spots to get those key bites away. And a little bit better than 13 pounds. We left a lot on the table, but I guess we didn't leave enough. And we didn't have a walleye in our boat until after 12 o'clock. I'm pretty sure it was closer to 1 o'clock before we actually boated our first walleye on day 2.
Wow. Incredible. Of course, 4th place again. These weights they blow my mind. And Team Abitibi, I think it's you have to pay an honorable mention because they caught the biggest fish of the tournament. So congratulations to Steve and David for pulling in this 8.37 pound walleye. What a gem that is. Christelle, being a part of photography for as many years as you have, Are you at all surprised to see this quality of fish?
I am not. No, this is I think now it's just easier. Anglers seems to be finding those fish now. I remember Jamie Robinson put a memory today. Was it 7 years ago? There was a 10-pound fish caught. And that was the last time there was a big fish like that. So seeing an 8-pounder, we haven't seen that in a while. So but they're out there. I think we're going to see a lot more of those in the future.
Awesome. Well said. And of course, third place, they were on the hot seat, and this is a great father and son team. Great folks, great to talk to, a lot of fun just to be around. But again, Danny, Nick, what can you say about your counterparts?
They're as much as they're a skilled bunch, they're a fun bunch to be around, and they bring a good energy to the thing, and they just work well together, and it's fun to see them around like that. And we obviously had them last week on the Power Hour, so people got to meet them in that respect, and we're really looking forward to see them in Duberville. They put a lot of work in, especially Francis, and making sure everybody had places to stay and setting us all up. So, and as much as they help us out, they're the team, one of the teams we're going to be chasing without a doubt.
Awesome stuff. Now, of course, the runner-ups, I felt his excitement. I don't think he was disappointed nonetheless, but Sebastian called me or texted me on the second day, and he says, Scottie, I think I might have it. I think I might have it. He was excited. I could tell. Even when he was up on stage, there was a certain sense of confidence, and when he's smiling, you can feel the aura. You can feel it. And again, what Sebastian has managed to do, and of course his partner Alex, who is well known in the NOWT. Christelle, tell us about tell us about what happened behind the scenes. And was Sebastian happy? Of course, he would have loved to have been first, but there is no shame in being second place when you're dealing with these athletes.
I think Sebastian overall, he was just coming in with a new partner is always nervous. He didn't sleep at all Sunday to Monday before leaving for the week, because he didn't know. He knows Alex, but he doesn't know him that well as a partner and all that. And at the same time, I think he was also feeling a little sad of not being able to fish with Jeff. And there's the guilt of not fishing with your partner, I think. And then you're like, well, all Sebastian has a thought process so deep. So I'm like, just relax, just have fun, just go there and learn. And this is what fishing with somebody else is all about. And he's going to learn from you too as well. So I think knowing his weight, he was just happy to be there. Actually, that's the highest he's ranked in Matagami. So overall, he was already happy with a second place. And if he would have won, for sure, that would have been a bonus. But he was really happy about his second place. And he was very proud of himself and his partner, Alex.
That's awesome.
Also to mention too, going into the championship, he is a former championship champion as well. So he won the first ever event in Geraldton.
What also happened at that?
I was lucky enough to be just out of the hot seat and able to be up there and give him a hug. Yeah. How long ago was that, Christelle?
2019, 5 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah. I will definitely vote these two as the most soft-spoken of all the teams. Alex especially. I wasn't sure if he was looking at me like, what is this fat guy saying? Like it was awesome to feel their energy, but in a way that was different than the other teams. And they have such a sense of confidence about what they're doing. So big tip of the hat to those two. And of course, we can't say enough about our winners. To go from 32 pounds to 35 pounds and a $13,500 check that they take home. What a win.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's
pretty incredible. Fifth place to first place, over 5 pounds difference in a bite like it was. I knew going into this, as well as many others, there was going to be a lot of big fish caught, but I didn't realize. I I had a hankering that 35 pounds is going to take it, but it was going to be a tall tale, and I mean they made it. It was an incredible finish. They deserve the highest honors to that. It's an incredibly tough couple of days out there for us, anyways. And I talked to several other anglers that found the same thing. Fish were deep. There was fish shallow. There was fish deep. There's fish suspended. There was fish in the wood. There's fish up on the sand. Like a lot of times, normally in this tournament in years past, I fished it lots of times. We've actually this check rate was in 2017 where Jamie took that 10-pounder that we just spoke of. We had a 998 or something like that, and he took our big fish mentions on us. So I was giggling when Christelle said that. But
that year you had a 9-pounder. He caught it. Oh my god!
Yeah, that was 2017.
Yeah, I remember now. Oh my god.
What I was going is like a lot of times like traditional metogamy, a lot of these fish go up into the banks in less than 5 feet of water, less than 10 feet of water. But I usually find a lot of fish in that 5 to 7 foot range. And you can pitch them with jigs and minnows, jigs and plastics, and also like pre-live scope. And we did a lot of live bait rigging where we're dragging long lines behind the boat, kind of like Lindy rig. And that's how we did a lot of our fishing, right? With the new electronics, it's a lot more pitch forward, pitch banks. But the fish seemed to be a little bit different this year. There was a lot of fish that were really deep. Like we got, I think our biggest, we got a 6.5 pounder on day one. And it was, we caught it in 35 feet of water. We seen that fish out there and worked it for 5-10 minutes and finally got it to go on plastics. And it was in 35 feet of water, suspended above 45 feet of water. So that was really, really bizarre. It come off a shelf. We followed it. And again, with the new technology, it come off a bank. We followed it and chased it down and finally and got that fish to bite. But having that said, we did catch a lot of fish in that 20 to 25 feet of water. You know, we joked and laughed at the last live and then said we caught him on the 3 of diamonds, as Danny said. But truly, the minnow bite was really good.
That's too funny.
Yeah.
Well, of course,
the minnow bite was good for me. And sorry, there's a bit of a delay, guys.
No, it's all good. Up next, of course, we're in Duberville. Christelle, tell us a little bit about this championship and, of course, the community of Duberville and how warm and receptive, because it's a family orientated tournament, and the whole community gets involved.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I love going to Duberville. Yes, it's a French town, but you're not going to be feeling left out or like an alien if you get there. You don't speak a word. Everybody's so welcome. Chantal and her team has been planning this whole thing for a while, to a point where Chantal is like, championship is this weekend, so make sure like her team was on the ball and everything was all set up and stuff. If you happen to be in town, you got to stop at there's this, I can't remember the name of the store. There's the grocery store and the hardware store, and then there's also a corner store. The iced coffee there, like the Ice Cap. Oh, you got to try it. I don't know if you like coffee as much as I do, but I am craving the Ice Cap. I cannot wait to be there, but it's going to be a great one. Chantal is super organized, OCD, so it's nothing going to be short of fun. Excellent. And well prepared and well organized, and she has a lot of stuff up her sleeves.
That's awesome.
Also,
Danny,
if I can mention one more thing about the that store as well, the Heritage. So it's it's the Home Hardware in town as well. LaCroix Home Hardware, if I'm not mistaken.
I remember.
Anyways,
I'm on pressure. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a Home Hardware. I got too many Home Hardwares as my dealers. I get them all screwed up, and they all start with an L. But there is a lot of fishing stuff there as well. In years past, there hasn't been a lot of fishing equipment. Hasn't had a lot of really targeting the anglers. But we've developed a with the owners there, and we've built a tackle shop inside there. So if there's anything that you guys are forgetting, lots of NXS plastics there. There's lots of jigs, lots of line, rods, reels. So don't feel like you're left out and have to pack everything. If you're missing something while you're there, any of the anglers, then they'll be there.
Danny,
You want to say hi?
you told me that you're going to see some big fish at this tournament.
Oh yeah, I expect to see bigger bags than what we see in Matagami potentially, and a lot more spread out. It's always been known as a very good fishery there, and I've only ever fished it once in my life, and we did well, even though I worked up there for quite a while. And it's got a reputation for doing it very well. It's also got a reputation for eating a lot of tackle. It's going to be an expensive venture up there. It's nicknamed the Snag Pie for a reason.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about fishing timber, that's all you do in Matagami is fish timber. It's all it is timber. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to it because it's been a long time since we've been up there. Like I said, we only fished it once, and it's obviously the championship, and there's so many people up there that we know, and it's just going to be a good time. And what do you know? We got Scottie coming up too, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So much fun, and again, it's an honor. This is the rest of the tournament trail for the NOWT for 2024. Again, if you are in any of these towns, any of these destinations, you'd love to come out and see a really well-run tournament, see some incredible walleye, and meet some really cool people. By all means, we'd love to see you come out and say hello, and of course, cheer on the NOWT and all their anglers, and of course, give a shout out, thank you to their volunteers. That's what makes this. Any last words, Christelle, before we wrap this up?
Well, again, thank you for coming to Matagami, Scottie, and thank you for everything you're doing for us. And looking forward to see all the anglers next week in a totally different environment. I've been there. I know how Chantal feels. I don't know as much how anglers feel, but the level of energy, I cannot wait.
That's awesome. Danny, Nick, forward to seeing you two again. As always, anything you're going to do special to prep for this tournament?
4 diamonds.
Lose 1 million jigs, I'm sure. That's going to be one of my things on my bucket list to do there. But quick question for Danny, and I'm gonna have an answer too. What do you think it's going to take to win this tournament, Danny? What's it going to take to win the championship?
I'm going to go with 36.05 in that area kind of thing, or 36.
And is it the same? Is it 6 fish, like 2 overs, 1 under? Same combination, same rules? Holy smokes.
This fishery, like you get the 26-inch walleye in Matagami and a 26 walleye here. They tend to be a little bit fatter here, so there's a bit more weight to them. So I think that's where it's going to bump up that weight. And I know being a championship, there's the pre-fishing game is going to be a little bit more intense like it was last time, and there's going to be a lot of effort put in there, and it wouldn't surprise me to see like a team break this and set a record bag, but my gut's telling me 36, but Marilise will probably correct me. She seems to be pretty bang on when she says these numbers there. So
Nick, what's your answer?
4108.
See,
it's going to take over 20 pounds a day to win this tournament. I was going to say.
Well, just to add to the fun, we are going to be allowing volunteers, participants, spectators to fill out ballots, and on that ballot you're going to be able to guess the team that's going to win, and of course the weight, and whoever is closest without going over, we're going to be sponsoring an Outdoor Flavors prize pack that has all of the spices, all of the coatings, anything you can imagine or want for that special fish fry. If you're going to smoke some meat, you're going to prepare some steak, pork, chicken, you're going to have quite a gift pack, as well as one other surprise that we're not going to mention. But make sure you fill out a ballot. Tell us who you think is going to win, and of course the weight that will win this tournament. You just heard it, 30-40 pounds. Incredible. Well, listen,
do it, Scottie. Where's the ballot at the tournament?
Oh yes, Chantal's all over it. Chantal's all over it already. We were talking.
Okay, cool. I wasn't sure if somebody asked because I wasn't too sure where was that ballot.
Yeah, the ballots. So make sure you go look for the ballots. We're gonna have a box to put them all in, and after it, we're gonna go through all the ballots and find out who was the closest without going over. And I will mail out the Outdoor Flavors prize pack. Listen, I can't thank you three enough for doing this tonight and everything that you do leading up to it and after. It's just an honor to be with you, and I'm glad to call you guys friends.
Same time,
Thank
Scotty.
you.
Thank you very much.
Right on.
Love you, buddy. See you in a week.
Absolutely. That is the NOWT Power Hour. Thanks for everybody that showed up and left comments. We really appreciate it. Until Beaverville, stay classy, my friends.
This has been